Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a story that's a fascinating mix of modern problems and ancient palaces. It turns out even the royal family isn't immune to everyday household headaches. We're talking about King Charles III, who has recently laid down the law on two items you probably have in your own home right now: wet wipes and scented candles. It sounds a bit strange, right? A king getting involved in bathroom supplies and home fragrances. But when you dig a little deeper, the reasons behind this royal decree are actually quite compelling and tell us a lot about the man now wearing the crown. So, let's start with the first banned item: wet wipes. For many of us, they're a convenient part of our daily routine. But for the royal estates, they've become a royal pain. We're not talking about your average modern home here. Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, Balmoral, these are historic buildings with plumbing systems that are, in some cases, centuries old. These ancient pipes were never designed to handle anything other than water and, well, the usual stuff. They're delicate, they're narrow, and they're notoriously temperamental. Now, introduce wet wipes into this equation. Even the ones that claim to be flushable often don't break down quickly enough. They get caught in the twists and turns of old pipework, snag on rough edges, and slowly build up. Over time, they combine with fats, oils, and grease to form what plumbers grimly call fatbergs. You can imagine the nightmare. Blockages in a regular house are bad enough, but a blockage in a palace, that's a whole other level of crisis. We're talking about potential water damage to priceless antiques, historic tapestries, and ornate architecture. The cost of calling in specialist plumbers to navigate these labyrinthine systems and clear the clogs is, as you can imagine, astronomical. It's not just about fixing a simple blockage. It's a major operation that requires careful planning to avoid damaging the heritage of the building. So, for King Charles, this wasn't just an arbitrary rule. It was a practical, financial, and logistical necessity. Banning wet wipes is a simple, proactive step to prevent catastrophic plumbing failures and preserve the integrity of these iconic royal residences. It's about protecting history from a very modern convenience. Now, let's move on to the second item on the royal blacklist: scented candles. This one might seem a bit more surprising. Who doesn't love the cozy ambience of a flickering candle, filling the room with a pleasant aroma? For decades, scented candles have been a staple in creating a welcoming atmosphere. But King Charles sees it differently, and his reasoning is rooted in a cause he has championed for over 50 years: environmentalism. The issue with many scented candles, especially those made from paraffin wax, is air quality. When they burn, they can release volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, into the air. These can include things like formaldehyde, petroleum distillates, and other pollutants. Think about the enclosed, often poorly ventilated spaces within a historic castle. You're burning these candles, and those particulates are just circulating in the air. For someone like King Charles, who is deeply conscious of health and environmental impacts, this is a significant concern. It's not just about the potential long-term health effects of inhaling these substances. It's also about the microscopic soot particles they can produce. Over time, this soot can settle on walls, ceilings, and priceless works of art, causing a thin, greasy film that is difficult and expensive to clean without causing damage. So, the ban on scented candles isn't about him disliking pleasant smells. It's a reflection of his commitment to creating a healthier indoor environment for everyone living and working in the palaces. And it aligns perfectly with his broader green agenda. He's essentially saying, let's find a better, cleaner way to make our homes pleasant without compromising our air quality or our heritage. It's a choice for cleaner air, inside and out. So what do these two seemingly small decisions, banning wet wipes and scented candles, really tell us about the new monarch? They reveal a man who is pragmatic, detail-oriented, and deeply committed to his long-held principles, even now that he's king. This isn't just about headline-grabbing environmental policies. It's about implementing those principles at the most fundamental, granular level. It's one thing to give a speech about sustainability, but it's another to actively change the way your own household functions, day in and day out. This is walking the talk in a very real way. King Charles has always been ahead of his time when it comes to environmental issues. He was talking about plastic pollution and organic farming long before they became mainstream concerns. Now, as king, he has the authority to implement these values on a much larger scale, and it seems he's starting at home. These bans show a monarch who is not just a figurehead, but an active manager. He's concerned with the efficiency and sustainability of the royal estates. He's thinking about the long-term preservation of these historic buildings and the health of the people within them. It paints a picture of a king who is hands-on, forward-thinking, and not afraid to break with tradition if there's a more sensible, sustainable way of doing things. He's not just inheriting the palaces, he's actively stewarding them for future generations. It also signals a potential shift in the monarchy's public image. By focusing on practical, relatable issues like clogged pipes and air quality, it makes the royal family seem a little less remote, a little more grounded in the same realities we all face, albeit on a much grander scale. It's a modern approach to managing an ancient institution, while his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, was known for her steadfast adherence to tradition and continuity. Charles seems to be carving out his own identity as a reforming monarch, one who blends tradition with a very modern, eco-conscious mindset. This isn't about changing the core of the monarchy, but about updating its operations to reflect 21st century values and challenges. He's showing that you can respect the past while still making smart, practical choices for the future. This approach of green-knifing the monarchy is likely something we'll see more of during his reign. We already know about his passion for organic farming at Highgrove and his initiatives like the Sustainable Markets Initiative. These small household bans are just another piece of that larger puzzle. They are the micro-level application of his macro-level philosophy. It's a message that sustainability isn't just for grand projects. It starts with the small choices we make every day. Whether you live in a small apartment or a grand palace, he's leading by example, demonstrating that environmental responsibility begins at home. It will be fascinating to see what other changes, big and small, are in store as King Charles continues to put his personal stamp on the monarchy. What do you all think about this? Are these practical moves from a forward-thinking king, or is it an overstep into minor household details? I'd love to read your opinions in the comments below. It's a really interesting topic that shows how even the oldest institutions have to adapt to modern problems. Thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into fascinating stories like this, please hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.